Welcome back to the catalog cult. Now, here's something I bet you didn't know. 40% of Meta's global revenue comes from catalog ads. At Marpipe, we track hundreds of millions of dollars of that catalog spend and figure out why it's such a fast-growing, high-performing ad format. We're going to break down how it's growing so fast and how you can cash in on this trend. I'm Dan Pantello, and today we're diving into the 2025 State of Catalog Ads report from Sharma Brands and Marpipe, a comprehensive look at the shifts transforming paid social and performance marketing. This report looks at hundreds of millions of dollars in ad spend that we track with our software platform Marpipe, and it uncovers why catalog ads are becoming the backbone of e-commerce growth. We wanted to ask the real questions worth asking and generate fresh insights for everyone in what is now the fastest growing ad format in paid social. That's why we brought in Nik Sharma from Sharma Brands, someone you all know for his insights on scaling DTC brands every Sunday. He's here to unpack these trends alongside me. Whether you're a brand owner, marketer, or media buyer, this episode will arm you with the strategies to future-proof your ad performance and scale profitably in 2025. Here's what we'll specifically cover: the explosive rise of catalog ads and how they're redefining performance, why product level video or PLV is changing the game, how AI-powered feed management is driving next level personalization, the multi-platform wave and trends that will shape your media strategy across them. Having said all that, let's dive right in. All right, Nick. Today, catalog ads, people don't realize this. Catalog ads account for 40% of Meta's global revenue, right?
It's way higher than I imagined.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. But it's crazy to think, because almost every time I open an ad account to audit it, they're not running catalog ads. Most brands don't run catalog ads, and then when they do, they just run normal catalog ads, nothing enriched, nothing optimized.
Why do you think most brands that you audit, because you audit so many brands all the time, why do you think that so many of them who are in the e-commerce vertical specifically, around 70% of ad spend goes to catalog ads, and you audit like a new e-commerce brand every day? So why do you think so many of them haven't caught on?
I think one is from a creative standpoint, they just don't know what to do with it. A lot of people, Marpipe's growing, but a lot of people haven't seen the concept of enriched catalogs or even know that you can enrich it or do anything with it. Creative directors and art directors see the idea of just a plain white image and they're like, no, this is not how we want to represent the brand and reach new customers. If they do use catalog ads, it's, oh, we'll set it up and forget it. It's not looked at as a growth marketing lever within the ad account. It's more set up some versions of copy in the ad editor and let it run. Whereas when we work with Marpipe, it's more like a growth marketing strategy. It's like, how are you constantly creating new catalogs, new versions of creative? Oh, it's holiday times. Let's make red background with a little bit of snow coming down, whatever it is. Treat it like a channel. You have to make completely separate creative for enriched catalogs versus what you're running in your business as usual stuff.
A lot of the creative teams do say, okay, catalog ads is dead on arrival. We've seen that before. Because they're like, okay, it's just our product images with white backgrounds. That's not ad creative that we're willing to put out into the world. Right. It's not like brand approved.
Exactly.
So catalog ads as a concept to a lot of creative teams, dead on arrival, because they don't even know that you can have so much creative control over it if you want.
Yeah, I feel like where brands do get excited is knowing that a lot of times when they're running DPA ads, they're actually running pretty efficiently on the retargeting side. That's usually in two scenarios. One is if a brand is really well known, like a large retail brand you'd find at a mall or is a top seller in a marketplace. Those brands do really well with catalog ads because people already know what the product is and they're ready to buy. And the second type is brands that focus on retargeting. A lot of times brands are okay with catalog ads being retargeting because they know how efficient it can be from a ROAS standpoint.
What is the ROAS you see?
On the retargeting side, I'm not sure across so many different verticals, but it is significantly better than retargeting in a regular CBO or ASC campaign. When you educate them why it's separate, and I always think of catalog ads as running in the carpool lane on the highway. Like it's a separate engine, it's a separate auction, like what Facebook's OG right-hand rail ads used to be. You can run with this engine and add this prospecting perspective of creative. You create creative that represents the brand well, and you hack how you get in front of people using the smart engine plus better creative. That's when the light bulbs go off, and they're always down to test it.
At Marpipe, we only work with brands who run catalog ads because we're a product for catalog ads. We have the privilege of seeing hundreds of enterprise brands, Fortune 500s running catalog ads through us. We get to see hundreds of millions of dollars of ad spend. In 2024 alone, we looked at $174 million of ad spend going to catalog ads. We're seeing substantially more than that on a monthly basis. It's been crazy. We saw from that ad spend on catalog ads in 2024, over $2 billion in revenue attributed. That's in-platform attribution, so take it with a grain of salt. But that does imply around a 7.8x in-platform ROAS, which is nearly double that of plain catalogs. We're seeing massive action and momentum on enriched catalogs. We're biased because we're looking at brands who lean into them. With the brands that you work with who are leaning into enriched catalogs, are you also seeing not just enriched catalogs, but regular catalog ads? What are you seeing as far as how it compares to the rest of an ad account for brands who are leaning in?
Catalog ads, once you figure out how catalog ads work and you make sure the feed is properly being fed, catalog ads are like postcard or direct mail or TV. Once you have something that works, it just works. And there's in the report we saw that there was a lot of brands that sort of have this set it and forget it approach. Once they figure out how it works, like they've got a really good feed coming in, they've got really good creative that they've tested or they're constantly testing. Going back to the brands that have good brand awareness, if you combine good brand awareness with good catalog practices, it's a machine. It is the AI ads machine. That is peak AI advertising. It's deciding who's interested in what based on everything the platform knows, between what you're DMing your friends, what you're stopping on organic reels, what websites you're going to, and which product variant you're looking at. It combines that with the timing that is the business or the ads manager special sauce of knowing when to serve and what to serve.
We created this report, right? Because Marpipe has all this data and your team analyzes all these ad accounts and sees so much in the space. We got to analyze what catalog ads perform like, and we got some pretty interesting insights. I'm just going to rattle off a few insights that me and your team were able to pull from this. We saw that from enriched catalogs, 76% increase in average order value, right? So customers are spending more per order when you include creative in your catalog ads, right? 47% lower CAC. Brands are getting customers for nearly half the cost. 53% higher conversion rates. So more of those clicks turning into purchases, and 41% lower cost per purchase. So efficiency up across the board. And that's from over 650 ad accounts that we looked at. What's your reaction?
Initial reaction is just looking at the numbers. It's very clear that enriched catalog ads drive a much higher trust factor when customers are coming to the site and making a purchase. There's also a higher speed to purchase. The journey of a customer making a purchase with catalog ads is much faster than the journey of somebody who is just clicking a business as usual direct to site. That's probably because one of the reasons catalog ads work so well is if you have a good product page and a site with good information on the page, that is effectively the landing page you're driving traffic to, whereas most business as usual meta campaigns drive to the homepage or a collections page. They're generally very unoptimized, not full of information. So it prolongs that customer journey because you're adding more clicks into that journey to get somebody to the product they actually want to buy. You're making them do their own research. Whereas here, you're creating a very defined funnel between creative that's personalized and a product page that speaks exactly to what people want.
Awesome. We're going to pivot into something I know you're hyped to talk about. Let's get into it. PLV, aka product level video. It's a new thing in 2024. Meta just launched this as a capability. So out of the gate, so this is news from 2024. The world of catalog ads doesn't have much breaking news all the time, but this certainly is one of those things. Meta announced that you can run video in your catalog ads now. They rolled out this announcement with a case study they did with On Running, who was part of their beta for this. And so they saw a 40% increase in conversions and 48% more views with product rather than just catalog ads. We're seeing some interesting performance metrics. Meta came out with this announcement and case study. What was your reaction to that and this new capability?
It reminded me of a resurgence of billboard advertising when I saw product level video. I think that product level video is fascinating because any ad in anybody's feed is basically the equivalent of a billboard. When you're driving, you don't really notice it all the time. But when you see these more animated billboards, like in the subway stations in New York or One World Trade with those massive screens, the way they run ads is absolutely effective. We have a case study we're doing with a brand, and we saw very similar numbers to what On pulled in their case study. It's amazing that anytime Facebook rolls out a new product and you try to test it or take advantage of it, you get significantly better results. Second is the ability, right now, product level video, you have to have videos for every SKU in your catalog. Most brands have a very inconsistent collection of videos. They're all shot differently because they're individual products. The same way we leverage Marpipe for, on the static side, like creating these templates, kind of like a Figma template, and then bringing in renders or cutouts of the products. We've started doing that on the video side, and you can do this. A lot of the ads that we run for clients with our animators and then run as ASC or CBO style campaigns, we can now do that directly inside the DPA engine.
When Meta came out with their announcement that video DPA is a thing now, the first complaint we started to hear from our customers was like, hey, can we use Marpipe for video DPA? Because everyone wanted to take advantage of this new format, but no one has a video for every SKU. We kind of like dropped everything and went all in on building this. In Q4, we released it, and it's been super popular. Everybody's adopting it because using Marpipe, you can generate new videos for every single SKU in your catalogs and test it out. We're seeing great performance. It's not rocket science that just like adding basic simple motion is going to improve performance with your DPA. One thing we're seeing is that the simpler, the better. This was an interesting insight when we looked in the report across the examples that we saw. Some people try to boil the ocean with it and do a UGC kind of super high production thing and shove that in their DPA. DPA is generally a simple format. So we have seen that just like basic motion, like having the product dance around a little bit on the screen or come into the frame and then the lifestyle image pop in. Simple stuff like that generally works better than intense animation.
I'm curious, do you see brands talking about AI within video DPA, like leveraging AI? Are they okay with leveraging AI?
It's a great segment into this next section of our report, right? Because it depends on the brand, and mostly it actually depends on the size of the brand. We see that small brands are way more eager. When I say small, I don't mean by spend volume, because some of these brands no one has heard of are spending like
$10 million a month.
Unbelievable. If you're a big brand, you don't want to surrender creative control to generative AI. The reaction to Gen AI that we've seen is really a mixed bag based on who's okay with giving up brand control. Are you okay to trade brand standards for the promise of better performance? It's a trade-off. Bigger brands are not willing to make that trade-off. They want to be in control. Smaller brands are definitely willing to make that trade-off. Do you think that eventually everyone will be willing to make this trade-off?
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time. Like the beauty of AI as well is it keeps the learnings compound, right? So today, where a team might say they're afraid the AI is not going to represent their creative the right way, I think in less than 6 months, we're going to be seeing this a lot differently. It's an argument of, is AI going to replace creators or designers? I think absolutely not. I think it's going to be more like a designer is going to see how they can create one catalog ad, and then they'll leverage AI to make 15 different variations. Or they'll say, take this winning format of a catalog ad we designed and make it holiday proof. Add some snow to it. Just leveraging it in a way that makes it faster to execute.
Well, the one important thing is how you apply generative AI. Generative AI should not be treated like a blunt force instrument to your creative. It should be like a scalpel. In order to do that, you need a design platform like a Marpipe where you can say, hey, I'm not just going to let Gen AI do whatever it wants and spit out whatever, right? Like, I want to control for this part. I want to control the background. I want to control the product image. The copy has to stay the same. But in this part of the image, the snow layer, AI can do whatever it wants there. So it's about the precision application of it, which is why I think we're seeing more brands adopting AI in areas where they otherwise maybe wouldn't. Meta, it's actually on by default now. If you turn on catalog ads, it's turned on by default, the AI backgrounds. And a lot of brands are like, don't actually know this. and they'll see their DPA in the wild and be surprised because it'll be like a couch floating on some sand. This is a real example. A soon-to-be customer came to us and was like, "Why is our couch on the beach? It looks so weird." They had no idea that a Gen AI was just doing whatever in the background. A lot of brands aren't comfortable with that.
I also think AI is one of those things where the more you input into it, the more learnings you give it, the more you teach it, the more you tell it what you like and don't like, the more effective the output's going to be, and the faster you can probably get to a place where you can start to rely on it a little more.
Yeah, awesome. Let's talk about the personalization trend. Are you seeing, like, the conference circuit is talking about it a lot? The word on the street is 80% of marketers expect to leverage personalization in 2025. Are you seeing that in reality? Is the action matching with their intention?
It depends where the personalization happens, right? On the creative layer, personalization happens in the sense that you upload a ton of stuff and you let Meta decide who to show what to and when and in what format and placement. So that level of personalization, I think, happens all the time, and that's pretty normal. There's a second level of personalization, which is more, think like a dynamic search. You search, I want to find a pad thai near me, and the Google result shows New York's best pad thai, and then you click it and go to the thing. There's the concept of, if you have an ad talking about the holiday sale, you go to a landing page for the holiday sale. Or talking about a new product launch, it goes to a landing page for the new product launch. Most brands leverage personalization on the creative side because it's easy to do. It's very easy to upload creative and let Meta do its thing. Most brands are not leveraging personalization post-click. Most post-click stuff happens to be the same. There's a brand that is currently doing probably $10 to $15 million a month entirely through Meta ads, and they have one page.
That's their whole website?
The entire website's one page, and it's a subscription business, and it's doing tens of millions of dollars a month.
Oh my God.
You
need to show me this page later.
Yeah,
that kind of contradicts the whole format thesis.
Yeah, it does. When we had hooks, my thesis there was also like every link should have its own landing page, which I still believe. The thought behind that is you need to make sure you're properly educating consumers. The more you can fit education into the funnel, the reason why enriched DPAs do so well is because there's more information. But yeah, to that point, most brands, even some of the largest brands on Marpipe, don't run to individualized landing pages. At most, they're enhanced collections pages and enhanced product pages. Maybe it's a duplicate of a product page made specifically for ad traffic or for catalog traffic, which I guess could be a level of personalization there. But yeah, for the most part, no one's taking dynamic fields on the product page or a landing page and swapping them out based on the traffic that came in. We used to do stuff like if you clicked a catalog or an ad and it had a very specific, had a blue blanket in the creative, we would make sure it arrives on the blue blanket variant as soon as you get to the page. But outside of that, most of the stuff is optimized by Meta's AI.
One of the things we discovered in this report is that when you get started with catalog ads, how would you know this?
Yeah.
But we found that you can use Gen AI to create additional information fields for every SKU that contain more detailed information about the product.
That's so smart.
We're starting to do this now. It's actually in beta, and we're going to release this as a product that anyone can use. It's so cool. It'll be the only change you'll make to a catalog. You'll take a catalog that'll just have regular product information, and then you'll add an additional field. For instance, if the product is called the Golden Business Cup, we'll say yellow, because golden also means yellow.
Probably a larger TAM for yellow.
Exactly, yeah. Right. We'll use Gen AI to supplement all these keywords for every SKU that broaden its scope and range of delivery, giving it more opportunities to be served. Yeah. Whether you want to call that personalization or not, right? You're taking advantage of how Meta provides personalized delivery. And so we're kind of gaming that system using Gen AI in catalogs in a different way than in the creative.
I think that is such a smart thing to do. One example we had in the report was if you're on Shopify, you're selling your shoe. It's just a white shoe, and that's what you've named it in the back of your catalog. With Marpipe, you import your catalog and you can say Italian comfortable walking white leather shoe made for city walking or whatever. It gives you a lot more of those inputs so that Meta's AI can use that information to deliver better ads.
Exactly. That's why I look at catalog ads as the OG lowest hanging fruit form of personalization. If any marketer feels behind on personalization and wants to get involved, a really easy way to do that is catalog ads.
I'm surprised that more people don't leverage Meta for personalization. It's the easiest place to add personalization in a customer journey because everything else requires so many developer resources, post-click.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, it's How many brands do you actually see, actually, like anecdotally, how many brands that come to you that ask you to audit the ad account, do you see them actually like using personalization in any way across their whole stack?
Maybe like 30%.
30.
It's not a lot. And it's all low-hanging fruit because Meta does all the work. So it's something as simple as having a rigorous creative testing program within your ad account, having audiences built out that you're testing against, whether that's broad, whether that's interest-based stuff, whether that's lookalikes of different segments of your list. That is basically step one of personalization. Most brands just don't do it. And when they do it, there's a whole other heap of things that they tend to miss out on.
Meta's great for this. What about other platforms? Generally, we're seeing multi-platform gain momentum, right? In 2024, a big viral subject of discussion was AppLovin, and you've seen other platforms like Snap really step up and get serious about their commitments to performance marketing. They actually, I think that they held their first ever performance marketing event with you, right? Just in 2024. Tell me about cross-platform trends you're seeing regarding catalog ads.
We've had some clients that are larger catalog brands that run on different channels, and I think Snap, outside of Meta, has the best DPAs. They've also been really focused on making it better. Most brands start running catalog ads on Meta, and then they want to see how can we replicate this across other channels. And it's very similar to, you find a winning ad concept on a business as usual style ad, like a video or whatever. You want to test that across as many channels as possible, broaden the reach, broaden the audience. Sometimes being on different platforms allows you to hit people at different times and makes them feel like the brand is omnipresent. Snap DPAs have been doing really, we've been testing a little bit on the TikTok side and a little bit on the Pinterest side. What are you seeing Marpipe plug into that's performing well?
We're seeing Snap. First off, Pinterest is 90% catalog ads as a platform overall. They're almost all catalog ads. Catalog ads have always been performing well on Pinterest. Generally, we see, this is one of those just like really low-hanging insights. Like if Meta is doing really well for you with catalog ads, chances are Pinterest will too. You should definitely try it. People have misconceptions about Pinterest. They think it's only for women. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of apparel brands and furniture brands and home goods brands that like sell things to have a 50% plus male audience that do great on Pinterest. Snap is more next level. We're definitely seeing a change in the story there. 2024 was an inversion. In 2023, Snap was not good at all for performance marketing, catalog ads specifically. And 2024, we saw that completely change. So they're really stepping up, and we have a partnership with them where right now, like, they are investing so much resources into overhauling the way that their catalog ads delivery program works to make it a lot better. For example, they're finding ways to use the machine learning to read the catalog more, to understand how it should be delivered to specific users. They're really building and beefing up their catalog ads tool. I recommend brands take advantage of it. Test it out. Come back, test it. If it doesn't work, come back in 6 months, test it again.
Yeah.
Lightweight, right?
Have you ever uploaded a product to TikTok Shop before?
No, TikTok is where we're seeing the least action.
Yeah. So what's interesting is, TikTok catalog ads I feel like have not taken off the way the others have, but I'm very bullish on TikTok catalog ads in a longer term fashion. They require so much information when you upload a product. If you upload a serum, they have to know every single ingredient inside of it. Where was it made? Where's the facility? The amount of checks and balances they have is crazy, but that gives them so much data in terms of how to match that to customers going forward. And if you just think about how great their For You page is, in terms of how well it does, in terms of serving you what you want, combining that with the potential of all of the first party and zero party data they have on the product side, I think is going to create for a big catalog. I think there's going to be a lot of catalog spend in TikTok this year.
That's interesting. I'm also going to I'm going to make a big bet and say that programmatic is going to be big in 2025 for diversifying away from Meta primarily for performance marketers. I think platforms like StackAdapt and AppLovin are stepping up their commitments to performance marketing. Trade Desk is for brand marketers.
Yep.
Right? You have to commit to huge minimums. I think programmatic is finally going to become way more of a part of the everyday conversation, and catalog ads will be a big part of it. Why? Because catalog ads are really easy to activate. You don't need to have specialized, localized knowledge. The same ad that works well on Meta is not going to work well on TikTok, right? You need to have localized creative knowledge, right? What works on TikTok, you got to get good at that specific thing. You got to learn. Programmatic is a similar beast, right? You got to learn what works well on programmatic because it's not going to be the same stuff that works well on Meta or TikTok. You don't have that learning curve with catalog ads, right? So you can just plug in catalog ads and start running stuff really easily. It's like a really easy onboarding vector for programmatic.
Yeah, fully agreed. I'll take it one step further. I think we're going to see the equivalent of catalog ads in billboard inventory. I wouldn't be surprised if out-of-home inventory becomes programmatic and allows you to plug in. Our phones, when you download a free flight tracking app, that data is actually being used by advertisers. About 15% of mobile devices are constantly being tracked, and that's how billboards or outdoor advertising, they track how many impressions you get. They take that number, multiply it by 5 or 6. I think it's going to fit directly in there. I also think it's going to fit into AR. If you've got glasses on and I'm in my apartment, I turn to the right, I'm going to be able to see that couch there and see exactly how it would look. And I think that's a DPA ad.
Imagine a DPA ad. Companies who are early adopters for try-on AR, right? Where whether you're apparel or whether you're a furniture or home goods brand and you can visualize it in your space, put that in your catalog ad. Imagine getting served a SKU that looks nice in a lifestyle image, already set in a nicely decorated apartment. And it says, see what this would look like in your apartment.
Right.
Like you're clicking that catalog ad.
Totally.
And the conversion rate on that is going to be crazy because you already have intent to use their try on AR feature.
Exactly.
I could see that having less of a click-through rate, but an insane conversion rate.
Yeah, agreed.
Right?
And totally shorten the customer journey too.
Exactly. Especially for big AOV purchases.
I was just thinking, I just bought a bed yesterday.
Oh yeah, which bed did you end up going with?
I bought a Sattva bed. It's a really nice leather bed.
Wait, what was the one that I told you to go with? The one that I had, our buddy Simon recommended this to.
Was it a...
It's like the one that clicks into place.
You know Thuma.
Thuma. Yeah. Lots of good beds out there.
There are a lot of good beds out there. What's crazy too is the furniture advertising is fascinating because you basically have to crack through. In fragrance, you have to sell something without letting somebody smell it. With beverage, you have to sell something without letting somebody taste it. And with furniture, you have to sell something without letting somebody touch it, feel it, know how it's going to exist in their space. And that's why a lot of these spaces have showrooms. Like Sattva even has one here on Fifth Ave. But to their credit, they do such a good job making you experience it through their journey of content and their website that you just make the purchase online.
One category that does really well on catalog ads, you would never expect it. This category crushes with DPA. Jewelry.
I could see that.
Jewelry. So like extremely high AOV, obviously, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 bucks per transaction. Catalog ads were great because I don't think you actually even need to like really touch it or feel it or like you know what a 13 karat or whatever, right?
So I had a thought this morning before coming here. What would be the perfect e-commerce business to set up and run exclusively with catalog ads and have it be efficient in terms of ROAS and margin perspective? And my idea was basically the same way Shein creates clothes on the fly, puts it on their site. If they have a high click-through rate, they start producing it. I think the same thing, but with jewelry. You look at the entire world of what jewelry is trending, you create it with AI, throw it into the product catalog, you put as many descriptive inputs in there, you start running it, and if your CAC is $500 and you're selling for $10,000, you're still running at a nice margin. Apparel is another one. Every time, if you go to a coffee shop and you're at the airport, you look at a girl's phone, they're always scrolling through a collections page. Women love scrolling through catalogs, and that's why these high AOV catalog ads do so well.
If you look at, I think one of the big one of the big reasons why catalog ads is growing so much is because, with very rare exceptions, most brands that are successful grow by adding more SKUs.
Yes.
You have your AG1s of the world that are single SKU companies, but then you look at like Ridge is a great example of this. They started with wallets and they're adding luggage and so on. You know, Dad Gang is a Marpipe customer. Bart is awesome on Twitter, doing the growth in public thing. They started out with hats, added shirts, sold out. So like that just, I think adding shirts just like doubled the size of their catalog, just that alone. And the bigger your catalog becomes, the better catalog ads work for you.
There's more personalization.
Successful brands grow more by it's like a self-reinforcing cycle, right? Because like small brand might be like, oh, my catalog's kind of small, but actually like we're adding more SKUs all the time. More SKUs equals more shareholder value. We've got trends that are defining 2025 based on our report. Here's what you want to know. Shoppable video is going to be big. AR is going to increase conversions for catalog ads and beyond. Gen AI is going to be applied with a precision of a surgical scalpel, not a blunt force instrument like these ChatGPT wrappers. You're going to see catalog ads as a vector for channel diversification, and you're going to see SKU-led growth for brands.
I have two things. One, does Marpipe plug into Google programmatic inventory?
I'm so glad you asked, because we're releasing that in 2 weeks.
To do something with that, because I think this catalog does well in terms of an ad format, but it looks terrible. So I'm very curious about that. We just started running an incrementality test with a brand where they sell higher AOV products, and we saw for 99% of the brands this is the case, because most brands don't have a ton of brand awareness, but anything add to cart, initiate checkout, or below, so non-purchase, does really poorly for a brand when running ads. They see a lot of add to carts but no purchases, or a lot of landing page views but nothing further. We just finished running a test with a brand where we saw the add to cart campaign drove a mediocre return on the website, but a massive return on Amazon. I'd be very curious to understand the incrementality of running enriched catalog ads on other channels. Running Facebook enriched catalog ads with Marpipe, what is the actual incremental result in stores, in Amazon, in TikTok Shop, other places that are not the .com? Did the creative do a better job of planting the seed of a new brand in somebody's head, which led them to purchase elsewhere?
Dude, that's brilliant. Let's do it. If you're a brand that's watching and you want to try that with Marpipe and Sharma Brands, let us know. Reach out to us.
Yeah,
Shoot us a note. We'll do it. We'll set up enriched catalogs for you and run an incrementality study about how it's creating a halo effect across your other channels. Only hit us up for that if you're down to share the data. If you want us to do it without sharing the data, that's cool too.
But you're going to have to pay.
The shareholders, of course, not us. All right, that wraps it up for today's episode of The Catalog Cult. Huge thank you to Nik for joining us and sharing his insights. Be sure to follow Nik. And where can people find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Sharma, or DM me there. You can email me n@sharma.com, or you can sign up for my newsletter, nick.co/email.
Sweet. For the full report that we did together for the 2025 State of Catalog Ads report, you can find that at marpipe.com. As always, for more information on catalogs, we run a very specific niche newsletter. We're talking about straight up catalog ads for catalog ad experts. So if you're interested in that, keep up with us at the Catalog Cult and sign up to our newsletter to stay ahead of the curve. Thanks for listening, and good luck in 2025.
See ya.